Hey, what's going on, man? This is your boy, Mr. Baby Daddy, man. Say, this is what I'm finna do, right? So, I know y'all hear me on here talking about my dad and all that stuff, and, the way that I used to think when I was a kid, right? But once you go back and you start to deal with your dad, and you see the type of person he is, you'll wonder what type of person you would be if he was able to sit there and let you know the things what not to do before you got yourself put in a situation where you're on probation for 12 years like me. Certain things that you could have went past because you would have had somebody to show you that. And then, like, a lot of times that we think that our dad is not there for us, but we really don't know what they went through when they was a kid. You know what I'm saying? For what happened to you to happen. And a lot of times it's just not him not wanting to be there, or maybe him and your mom not on the same page, and sometimes it is best for them to split. But it's not best for him to cut out of your life, you know what I'm saying? But if he don't know how to separate that from that, sometimes it may be better for him to leave and get his mind right. And I think sometimes, when my dad was growing up, this was a little bit later. This is not now times. So back then, you know what I'm saying, my dad wasn't no bum. My dad, you know what I'm saying, took care of the house. But back then, he was a hoe. You know what I'm saying? Just straight up. And you can't keep your family like that. But anything other than that, we didn't worry about nothing. Well, my sisters and brothers didn't worry about nothing, because when I was born, when I turned 5 years old, that's when my mom left my dad. So my sisters and brothers, you know what I'm saying, my mom and my daddy was married for 17 years, so they got the chance to actually have that, but it wasn't pleasant. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's chaos in the house, what is the difference between this chaos in the house is when you leave and you don't see them no more. You're still gonna have those thoughts of negativity, but you still got the structure of your dad being there. My oldest brother got the structure of being there with our dad. Whatever he took from it is what he got, but he still had that time to have with him. But when I went back, and like with me dealing with my dad now, you can tell that my dad is a hard worker. You can tell that my daddy take care of his business. You can understand that my daddy, you know what I'm saying, don't take shit from nobody. And all around, he'll probably a good dude. You know what I'm saying? But he's probably not a good husband. He's probably not a good boyfriend. But when it comes down to taking care of his business, and I think if I would have had a relationship with him the whole time, my life would be different. The way I think would have been different. You know what I'm saying? But when I was young, I had so much hate build up in me for me seeing what he did to my mom when she was younger. That what made me hate him so much. It wasn't the point of me hating my daddy because he did something to me. It's just when you have that image of everything that he did to your mom, that really put a negative twist on the relationship that I had with him before I knew about feelings. Before I knew, if you didn't know how to control your feelings in a relationship, it make you do dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? And plus in his time, it was more like, I'm the man, you the wife, you do what I say, I pay the bills, my mom didn't work, she sat in the house with the kids, and my dad did his thing. You can't comprehend that when you a kid. But once you get grown and you start to see how these females play with you, you see how these females hold your kids from you, you see how these females do all this stuff, then you can actually put an anchor on probably what he went through, even though, he could have came and saw us. But every time he came, he did something to make me not want him to come back every single time. Instead of him having a cool head and keep his mind focused on his family, But on his kids, he kept his focus on my mama. You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying, okay, I'm gonna let her go and I'm gonna have a relationship with my kids, he didn't do that. Because, I don't know. And when I went back, you gotta understand, my mama left my daddy when I was 5. I went back when I was 31. And I did ask those questions. And I really understand that he really didn't know how to comprehend it. He didn't know how to deal with it because that wasn't in the book. He didn't have nobody to sit there and explain to him about his family deal because my daddy mama had 13 kids, so it really wasn't no male figure in the house. And back then, we talking about the 40s, the 50s, the 60s. So we talking about back then when most people got out and really learned how to get on their grind. They really got on their jobs. They really buckled down. They really had to learn how to be a man. And just because you learn how to make money don't mean you know how to communicate. Don't mean you know how to love. Don't mean that you understand that the love and the affection and the conversation and the time that you spent with your kids meant anything back then if you weren't raised up in that type of environment. And there's no way he was raised up in that type of environment if my grandma had 13 kids and everybody, every 3 kids or every 2 kids, all of them got their own dad. It wasn't one grandma and one grandpa and they had 13 kids. It's one grandma with a whole bunch of whoever they was, and they all got their own daddies, and they went on by their business, and that's what they saw. So that's what he did. And when you get grown, when you look back, you know, I could have done some things better with my kids' moms too, especially with that communication. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's one of the problems that I actually got from him, because my dad told me he seen his dad one time. So breaking this cycle is very, very important to me, because I don't need this to continue with my last name on it. And the relationship that I have with him now is not perfect, but I can respect who he is. I can respect that after all this time, and I ain't never fucked with him, and probably said so much negative shit about him, that he's still willing to give me his last and do what he gotta do for me, because he ain't gotta do shit for me. I'm grown. He ain't gotta fuck with me. He ain't gotta talk to me. He ain't gotta do none of that. But he like, come on, let's go get it. As a matter of fact, when I'm letting you get it, I'm gonna let you get all of it. I'm gonna let you do this. You got the boat, you got the motor. Hey, look, I went and bought my own nets. And the reason why I do that, because that's how you let them know that you're serious. And when you let a person that's on their shit, let them know that you serious, that's when they start to take you serious. That's when you need help, they really help you out, because they know that you all about what you're doing, and you can actually show them that you're trying to pull off what you're trying to do. Because the last thing that I ever want to happen to me again is me go work for somebody else, and whenever they feel like it, they can tell me, hey, we're going to let you go today. That's not the feeling that I'm going to have. That's not the feeling that I'm going to pass down to my sons and my daughter. So the things that I'm doing right now is to put me in position so I can put my kids in position. So I ain't got to worry about a position at another person's job no more. But hey, look, this is your boy, Mr. Baby Daddy, man. Shout out to everybody. And everybody, all your males, man, if you really don't know, if you just mad at your dad because you think he ain't there and you really don't understand the situation between your dad and your mom, go have a conversation with him, man. Just go have a conversation with him. And if he don't want to have a conversation with you, if he don't hit you back, then just chop it up. You know what I'm saying? You gave your best. You tried to see what that was about. And some of us dads ain't tolerable. Some of them, you can't talk to them. Some of them not gonna get it. Some of them brain got stuck at a young age and they can't get past that. And you have to look over that. And that's when you gotta put all your energy into your kids to make sure that they don't get stuck like your daddy, so you can keep on making your family grow. But this is your boy, Mr. Baby Daddy. Y'all get at me, man.